There's a fine line between cuddling and holding someone down so they don't get away.
They're on the stage. They've got him down. They're holding him down. They're saying, we're staying here till we get confirmation that the shooter is down. We're staying here. Staying. A bit like cricket. Wait. They're waiting. And then they get the confirmation. They go, okay, shooter's down. We got to move. Okay, now, because step one is wait for the shooter down to be confirmed down. Step two is whatever the next thing in the training book says, which is get the fuck out of there, usually, isn't it?
I would have thought so.
So he's standing up going, let me put my shoes on, let me put my shoes on, let me put my shoes on. His shoe's fallen off. He will be forever known as the man who lost his shoe. It's a bit of biblical prophecy if I have to jog your memory there.
Oh, yeah, last week.
The man who lost.
I haven't worried too much about the backstory of this bloke yet.
Obviously. Well, I can tell you he's a 20-year-old kid, with a gun. And he lived about,
maybe if Trump had a gun, right? Maybe I think they need to throw small guns in that situation. I'm pretty sure,
yeah, I think that's what they would say. But if it was God's chosen one, it would have just bounced off him. You know what I'm saying? He bled blood from his ear from a gunshot wound. There's no miracle here. This is a joke.
Mate, right? This is a Samuel L. Jackson Pulp Fiction divine intervention from the Lord himself moment. I don't know how you're disputing this. He's the chosen one. This is, you mentioned biblical prophecy before. This is playing right into the Bible bashers.
Yeah, no. Look, I'll welcome that debate. But look, every single president who has served since Ford, Nixon, Kennedy, further back, obviously Kennedy with a way different outcome, have had attempts on their lives. Every single president. Every single one. While in office. Okay, in other news, we're done with that. Let's just put that to bed for now. Simo left the Eagles, sure we'll man. Simo left the Eagles.
Yeah, do you know what? I forgot about that. Completely.
I wanted to put it back on the table because obviously he's been a big part of the club for 11 years. And I speak for both of us when I say this, love him.
Don't speak for me.
Oh, come on. He got you a premiership. I know you were happy that day.
I love him. Want to hug him.
Yeah.
Want to boof him.
We love all of our premiership coaches equally. Maybe not equally, but we do love them all.
We do. And those non-premiership fuckheads.
So we need Coxie back. That's number one. Obviously, the current coach of the Eagles, who was the assistant coach, one of the midfield coaches, Jared Schofield. My little brother was giving me the rundown on him. He actually rates him.
What is his rundown? Really?
Dude, he's like...
Sorry, he played 206 games, 127 goals. That's a pretty decent career. I mean, 200 plus.
Yeah, so he played in Port Adelaide's kind of golden era.
Yeah.
And he sort of managed to catch a premiership at the Eagles too, which is pretty funny.
Right, okay. He was traded to Port Adelaide at the end of 98 for Scott Cummings, the meat pie himself.
Wow. Kicked a bag of goals. He kicked a lot of goals, Scott Cummings.
What my concern is that this is all an elaborate plan by Buckley to come back and destroy the club that beat him, humiliated him in the 2018 grand final.
This is where your brain goes.
I think there's a real possibility that after the grand final, he thought...
He started scheming.
Yeah. How am I going to ruin this club?
Okay.
I'm going to retire from coaching. I'm going to wait until the time's right. I'm going to return. I'm going to come back. I was a massive player. I was a pretty decent coach. Did he get a premiership?
I mean, I think so.
Or was that the one that got away?
No, he didn't.
Oh, so he came that close. Oh, Sheed. That's dirty. You can't do a man like that. I actually really liked Buckley in his playing days. He was a great player.
Oh, no, I think it is a really sore point. I don't think he's a premiership player.
Oh, no, he's not a premiership player.
Yeah, no, but he's a Norm Smith medalist.
He did win a Norm Smith in a losing grand final.
Ouch.
And he hasn't coached a premiership either, has he?
No.
Right? Oh my God. See? Now he's a failure. He's a failed human being is what I'm saying.
Whoa. Easy there. I mean,
we want this loser? Do you reckon Mr. Duckhead himself looks at Marlon Pickett and he comes in, he debuts in a grand final?
Oh,
do you reckon he just looks at this guy and goes, mate, I've had a full career of playing, coaching at the highest level. I've been the best in the game. I've done everything.
You've literally played one game.
You come out of jail, straight into the team, one game. He nearly won the Norm Smith as well. Yeah. I got some CTE. And speaking of CTE, Biden, did you see he was at a NATO summit and he was introducing
Zelensky?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the strongest man in Europe right now.
He says something like, he goes, the man who's standing against these people and blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President Putin. Oh, right when he's at this point where people are really taking a close look at him for his mental acuity, he also he was talking about Kamala Harris and he called her Vice President Trump.
What?
He called Kamala Harris Vice President Trump. It's a new direction for the Democratic Party, having Donald Trump run as vice president alongside Joe Biden. But I think it could work. I think we could be on a pathway to peace here. And there should be peace because America, as I know it, are not at war with anyone or themselves. So let's figure this out. Let's get everyone on the same team. Let the Republicans throw up a candidate. I guarantee you the dynamic duo of Joe Biden and Donald Trump on the campaign trail together will defeat any Republican candidate they can possibly muster. So, Joe, it's time to make the call to Don. Say, Soz, do you want to run with me? Let's go.
One party.
165 years of experience. 2 men. 1 idea.
If Trump was assassinated, what happens? Who's the Republican nominee? Does Biden continue to run? Because, I mean, I think they're only running Biden because he's Trump's kryptonite.
Well, that's the reason he says he's running, is because he's the only one who can beat Trump. He's a bit like the chosen one. Even though maybe in the first presidential campaign, I think they asked him, he's like, is there anyone else in the Democratic Party who could beat Donald Trump in an election? And he said, yeah, about 50 of them, which has aged like milk. Because now he's saying he's the only man for the job.
And also, who would assassinate Biden? Because he's about 15 days away from, just
you could say the same thing about Trump,
anyway.
because Trump's only like 2 or 3 years younger than Biden.
But he seems more lively, objectively.
I don't care. He eats way more Big Macs.
Yeah, it keeps him alive, man. Big Macs are good for you.
Could Big quite possibly be at this point. He's turning the whole thing on its head, isn't he? He's one of those people who would look upon your lifestyle as a bit of a daredevil, because I think he's the kind of person who believes that we're born with a certain amount of heartbeats.
And he's too fast.
Yeah, your heart beating too fast, mate. Slow it down. Eat a Big Mac.
Speed running.
Big Mac, have a frozen Coke, and just chill the fuck out. All right, we're going to live forever. I'll be Joe Biden's speechwriter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you my clap back from the debate that he should have said.
Yeah.
All right. So when I watched the debate, I was as furious as most people watching that debate who watched it. I mean, if you watched any of the analysis afterwards, you may have had a laugh at some of the more colorful things that were said, but actually watching an hour of that was painful. But I did it anyway. I persisted. And there's this bit where we talked about it. Donald Trump talks about golf. He says, when people play with me, they say, wow, how is he so good? How is he so good? He was essentially just bigging himself up about how good he is at golf, right? And Joe Biden comes back with, when I was vice president, I got my handicap to a 6. Okay, we talked about that. He should have just said, I care about golf. I care about the American people. I care about you and you and you. I care about how we move forward as a country, unifying each other, making sure that everyone who needs to be taken care of is taken care of. Golf is about 6 billion on my list because I care about way more important shit and I have a very important job to do. If he said that, he almost wins the race if he said that.
Don't argue with an idiot. He'll drag you down to his level and then beat you with experience.
So what else was on the agenda is what you were saying? What got done?
What got done? Lots of things are on the agenda, but they don't agree on much.
No, not a lot of agreements in the realms. You would have thought the Queen just rolls up, throws her sword around a bit. I mean, I've been watching too much Game of Thrones, but like throws her sword around a bit and just goes, yo, like we're changing this one and get on board. Otherwise, off with your head. I don't know.
I don't think they yield any power, though. The ban on non-Protestants becoming monarch and the requirement for them to be in communion with the Church of England was not altered.
Oh.
Okay, so the ban on non-Protestants becoming monarch. So you have to be a Protestant. Why doesn't it just say you have to be a Protestant?
I think they want to use language like this so that most people don't even know what the fuck it means. I think that's the idea behind a lot of that language. It's so when you read it, you go, ugh, who cares?
And you have to be in communion with the Church of England. What does that mean?
It's probably just an old thing to do with religious ties. Probably makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, yeah, no, that's fine. Fuck it off. But they didn't fuck it off. They kept that.
They kept that. Yeah. So King George, I'm trying to think of a royal that's in line to be on the throne and is not married. And how old's King George? Like 6 or something?
Oh, maybe.
Whatever, right? He's not married. So if King George, he can marry a Catholic.
Correct. Now, thanks to his grandmother.
And so if you're a Catholic, you can't be a Protestant. You can't be both, right?
His great-grandmother. No, his great-grandmother.
And being a Catholic and a Protestant are mutually exclusive?
Yes.
You can't be a Catholic and a Protestant.
They're all Christians. They're all Christians, but they're not all. Yes, it's kind of like a square and a rectangle. Yeah. Like a Catholic can be a Christian, but a Christian is not necessarily a Catholic.
Okay, so he can marry a Catholic. So let's call her Mrs. Catholic. That's fine. Okay, now the ban on non-Protestants becoming monarch.
Well, you can forget about that because he's got to be a Protestant. He's got to be.
No, he's a Protestant. So King George is a Protestant. That's fine, right? Now, if he died, oh, well, then she's just Miss Widow, she's Catholic Widow.
Ex-King Consort.
She's nothing. I thought she became queen or something.
No, bro. You clearly have not read very far down the line of succession, have you?
So then the last thing they did, right, is they established that only the 6 people closest to the throne require the monarch's permission to marry.
Say that again.
Only the 6 people closest, the 6 next in line to be on the throne.
Yeah.
Require the monarch's permission to marry. So in this case, it would be.
Oh, okay.
Who we got here? We got the, the 2 boys.
Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny? I think I know who number 7 is.
See, under the Royal Marriages Act, 1772, almost every descendant of King George II needed the Queen's permission to marry, which by 2011 was thousands of people.
Because they just want to. They just want to know if you're not you're Catholic, right? Are you Catholic? Yeah, I'm Catholic. Great. Because in 2011 there was this thing called Chogham. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with the details, but they changed the laws so we can get married.
I was thinking, we need a Zack Snyder cut of the Bible.
Oh, I love that. I think that'd be great.
I knew you would.
I would love to write the Bible with you. If we can just do it. Yeah. We'll just translate every line. We'll just go, we'll say a line and then we'll be like, what do you think?
Do you know I've been trying to read it for about 3 years?
I know, but I read the easy one, man. So I've got a pretty good idea of how.
So you think we're just going to not just read it, we're going to write a new one. What's interesting is, in some ways, if you want to look at this through a misogynistic lens,
which I do,
it was the woman who saw the tree and made the decision to eat it and misled, some would say, Adam. This was all caused by a woman.
Correct. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. If you're going to look at this through these are representatives of the 2 genders here. In their defense, though, now that first line that I read to you before, the serpent was only talking to Eve. The serpent targeted Eve.
Correct.
So, I mean, what chance did she have? She's getting led on by the forces of evil.
I don't think she stood much of a chance, poor Eve.
I know.
Because Adam was made in God's image, okay? He was created in God's image, right? It's a bit more misogyny for you because God is man and man is God. But here's the thing. He built Eve from one of his ribs. So she's not even in the make of God now. She's not built in the image of God. She's built in the innards of Adam's ribs. What's the snake doing in the Garden of Eden? Like, God has power over this, right? Just get rid of the snake. Or before you leave, another Ricky Gervais joke, he goes, oh, and by the way, if a snake comes around here telling you to eat the tree, he's a lying little shit, right? At least tell him. What you put these first humans in the Garden of Eden, and you figured they would just discern that a talking snake was going to deceive them?
There's a few holes, isn't there?
How would they even know what deception is? They don't know good from evil. They would not even know what deception is. So of course they're fooled by it. You idiot, you should have made them smarter, but they had to do it themselves by eating the knowledge apple. He really boned this up. And then it doesn't matter, because page 6, he's murdering the whole planet again anyway, isn't he? It's page 6, he's starting again, isn't he?